Welcome in. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Living the Guard Life. I'm Jacob. That's Nick. Down below us is Roger First and Cuyahoga Falls. Guys, we are brought to you, as always, by our friends over at Homage Apparel. I actually got my first Guardians Homage shirt. Here we go. I got the Flying G.
Ooh, I love it, like the hats.
Yeah.
I love the logo. I love the Flying G logo. I don't care what anybody says.
And when you take the awesomeness that is the Flying G logo and you slap it on a really super soft homage shirt, you really can't go wrong. No. So click in the link. There's a link in the description down below for the Guardians homage collection. So go check that out. Guys, if you want to get in on some extra cash using all the awesome bets we've got going on our Discord, our VIP section of the Discord, which will include a lot of rumors and some other things that we're hearing, which will really heat up from me as football season is starting to start in a few days. So a lot of that stuff is firing up. It's $10 a month, $100 for the year, so you get two months free. I think we're going to run a promo with training camp opening up here in a few days, so there's probably going to be a chance there. But you'll get your money back. Just Zach, both Zachs, and the other crew down there putting in the bets or winning money every day if you guys go tail those bets. So check the Discord out. Link in the description down below. Gentlemen, how are we after the sweep in Texas?
Full disclaimer, we are not professional bettors, but they sure seem to win pretty often. And in the light of that,
to say that, right? I have to say that legally.
A little disclaimer, but neither here nor there. I made a prediction last week. You know what? I was ready to predict a sweep, and I felt pretty safe about saying that the Guardians would go 2-1 in the series, and not feeling super smart today. So it's been a tough weekend of baseball, and I know we're gonna dive in, but life is good. Baseball is rough right now. How are you, Roger?
Oh, my goodness. You know what? First of all, I wrote 2,000 words on why coming out of the All-Star break, going into the second half, why everybody just relax, let these guys play baseball, let them figure it out. You know what? Never mind. Forget all that. Forget I said anything. I can't scratch that week and a half of writing and work and research that I did. Well, forget it. I can't defend anything. And, you know, you think that after 3 or 4 days off, you could take a 4-run lead, and it became a 2-run lead, but that was fine with Savali Friday night and hand it over to your bullpen, even a 1-run league after Morgan into the 7th inning, and they couldn't hold the lead. Again today, we had a big home run today that put us up, 5-2?
5-2,
And the bullpen again, and that's what everybody claims is the strength of this baseball team. And you know when people say that, and I heard a guy that writes for a paper. I'm not going to say who it is and what paper he writes for, but he was on. I'm not going to say what station he was on, but he was talking about our bullpen and the strength and this and that. And I could tell he doesn't watch or listen to Guardians baseball at all. By the way, he was talking about Class A and talking about the bullpen and because the numbers say one thing, but if you watch them every night, game in and game out, it tells it where they're shaky, where it tells a different story. You know, Class A with all his saves, still he had just as many leads and blowns. Man, that was the strength of our team, our so-called strength. And you had them. They were 16 out of the last 22 going into the break. You had them on the road, and there were 2 very winnable games to win that series. You end up getting swept. It was a complete 360. Now you're 3 games under 500 again, and I can't defend it. Some of the things Tito should have pulled Sandlin today, I can't defend it. I can't beat a drum for Terry Francona today. So
it was a weird series, man. Like, it was a weird series.
Yeah.
You talk about Savali, who continues to play, throw the ball really well. I thought maybe you could have put him back out there. Because I believe he was at like 80-some pitches, I think, when they pulled him after 6.
Yeah, I get pulling him, though, and giving it to your bullpen. You think you can trust him. You can't fault Terry that, but they should have left him rolling, too. Yeah,
and that's kind of – and it's like – all of a sudden, if you look at that final score, you think, because Texas, that's a good team. That's a good offensive baseball team.
Very good team.
They're a good team. But you would have think looking at that final score that like the Guardians were never in it. Well, the Guardians controlled that game until the bullpen just like the name of this episode is The Bullpen Implodes in Texas. And it just imploded twice. And I don't know what's going on with Trevor Stephan. He's had his ERA was still respectable going into this. It still is. It's like 3.5. But it's like when he goes in, when he's bad, he's awful. Like he'll go out there and maybe, throw you a scoreless inning or something like that. And when he gets scored on, it doesn't feel like Stephan goes out there and lets up a run or two. It feels like Stephan goes out there and lets up 3 or 4, and he let up 4 today in a third of an inning. But like it feels like he's walking dudes. He's not getting swings and misses like he did last year. Or not last year, but early in this year when he was playing pretty well to start the season when the bullpen was doing their job at the beginning of the season, which I think a lot of that like success that the bullpen had out the gate is why statistically they are still a quote unquote good bullpen, even though as the statistics are starting to catch up because of the bad ones, right? And they're starting to catch up here. But like Nick, you predicted 2 wins against the Rangers. You should have had 2 damn wins against the Rangers. I literally was listening. Nick called me back. I called him because I heard about Stephen Kwan bobblehead night coming up. And I called him, and he called me back right after David Fry hit that dinger. And I said to him, hey, it's 5-3 now, or 5-2 now. Like, they just hit a 2-run dinger. And I actually put my phone down, and I was working on a project in my backyard, and I was like listening to the game as I did it. And I actually put my phone down because I was using a power tool, so I wasn't going to be able to hear it. And the next thing I know, I got a notification that it was 5-4 or 6-5. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what do you mean it's 6-5? Like, we just got done making it 5-2. And it's like, I don't know right now, man. Like, Arias got consecutive bats in a game today for the first time in 22 days. And you can't tell me there's anybody in any of the positions that Arias plays regularly. And I get it. He doesn't necessarily have a home right now, which I think that's another conversation to have. But there is not, because he can play all over the place, right? There are not. What would you say? He could play probably like 4 positions, 5 maybe, something like
5
that.
Positions. He plays all 5. He plays 5 positions.
So he can play all 5 positions. You cannot tell me that there is that many players better than him in the lineup getting at bats while he sits on the bench. You can't tell me that because it's just not factual. And listen, if you're not going to catch Bo Naylor, and I'm okay with it because I understand what you're trying to do with Bo Naylor. If Bo Naylor's not out there, it needs to be David Fry, not damn Cam Gallagher. I'm getting sick and tired. Like, I know that Bo's struggling. He's still hitting better than Cam Gallagher. And people are like, well, he's got more. Listen, I've seen Bo make more plays behind the plate, and and that is his struggle behind the plate defensively. He's made more plays behind the plate than Cam Gallagher. So I love Tito. I just don't know what the hell's going on right now.
I'll tell you what, you brought up Bo Naylor for a second. That Friday night game when we got the Josh and Bo home run in the same inning, which they're the first Guardians to ever do so, we're up 4-0 at the time. Everybody's celebrating, having a good time. We're fresh off the All-Star break in first place. We've got both the Nailers hitting home runs. You've got a lead. Everything's good. And then you give up 12 unanswered runs. 12 on it. Like, you know what? Coming into the show, I don't think I was as frustrated as I am thinking about the entirety of this weekend as I am now. You had those are winnable games, and I know you got to give credit to Texas. They're a good team, but their record in I think the last 20 was not good at all.
16-22. 16 of the last 22 they lost.
They've really been struggling, and you were just the team that they got right against. They just took you out to the woodshed and swept you, and that's a bad feeling because you know what? It felt really good at the All-Star break to be in first place, and you say, okay, well, the division's bad, so at least we can justify feeling good about it because we're in first place. Well, now you go from finally above 500. That was a mark you were really hoping hit, and you're
right at it.
Yeah, and so this is a massive step backwards. There's really no other way for me to say it. This is a massive step backwards, and I'm pretty frustrated as we're really starting to dig in here, Roger.
You're right. We didn't even go over 500. We're 45 and 45.
Yeah,
We didn't
right.
even go over
Right.
500. There's nothing you said. I agree with everything you said. It's I can't criticize. I try to defend different people. I try to defend Miles Straw out in the outfield, and he gives you a cushion. Your corner outfielders play with a lot more confidence on the lines because they know Miles Straw can cover a lot more territory to their left or right side. Depending on what they can play the lines. Stephen Kwan always catching balls on the left field line. Going and getting balls because he knows he can cheat that way because he got a Miles Straw. But I got to stop. I can't keep justifying it with this defense. And somebody pointed it out. It was Jimmy B or it was Joe. People I talked to on Twitter said, when do we draw the line where his defense is, justifies him being in the lineup compared to what he's, costing you to how much he's saving you. I mean, I'm under the belief, and I said this, I've been on, that as long as Tito Francona has a Gold Glove center fielder to put in center field, that's who he's putting out there. I don't care what he's hitting. It's just something that Francona, you know what I mean? You got a Gold Glove center fielder. That's who's playing out there. Let's hope he hits. I don't know. What say you? Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because I have been with you a lot, Roger, when it comes to the Miles Straw stuff, because I love a good playmaker in the outfield, and he gunned that dude down from center field.
Yeah.
Was that yesterday? I don't remember. It might have been. I don't remember.
I think it was
what happened?
It might have been Friday. He threw the one out at the plate.
He threw the guy out. Yeah, he threw somebody out at third. Yeah.
And that was great. But can you definitively tell me that the drop off from him to Arias, like let's just put Arias there, for example.
Yep.
Put Gabriel Arias out there. Is the drop off actually that far? Like it is, because he's not a Gold Glove center fielder. I understand there's a drop off, but it's a significant step forward where like you're not winning because of that defense, but you could win if you could get some more hits, because Miles Straw, the way they have him positioned, well, I don't know if it's the way he's positioned in the order, but the way that the lineup is hitting, he's getting a lot of high pressure, important at bats that he's failing at. He had many chances this weekend. Obviously the 4-2 falls apart, but the 2-0 yesterday's game, Saturday's game comes to mind, and it's just like, well, if Arias is there, I don't know that Arias is gonna get it, but like he's gonna get it more than Straw is, and it's just like you could move some things around to try to make it better in the outfield, to make it work in center field, but like I think Straw should be the one in Arias's current position where he's playing full games every couple of weeks as the fourth outfielder, because I love the defense, man, but like that defense isn't winning games right now, and what they need is hitting.
Yeah, you're desperately. I mean, I think Friday is the game that sticks out to me the most. You get 4 runs between the 2 nailers in 1 inning, and you produce 0 runs for the rest of the game. 12 unanswered. You can't. You're not winning baseball games that way. You're already struggling to begin with hitting the ball out of the park. I just think offense is at such a premium right now, and you're getting absolutely none of it from Miles Straw right now. And I don't understand how they can continue with what they're doing. It's because it's clearly not working. It's not working right now. And yes, I think we all had fun saying they're in first place, and we all had fun, saying, well, they could really come on because we've seen them come on. But at the same time, if you're looking at it objectively, where you want to be, if your goal is to win a World Series, you're nowhere near that right now. And so I think it's time to look at this and say we need to make some changes.
Yep.
My goals. See, and that's the thing I wrote about. I talked about all year, everything I've been saying, and I had no expectations. I had a lot of hope that they were going to win 92 games. I still think they're going to win a division. Every day I think it takes less games. It could be 86 can win the Central. And you know what, though? That's just good experience. Look at this Texas Ranger team. 2016, they were the best team in the West. They lost in the division round of the playoffs. We ended up going to the World Series. We lost to the Cubs. They completely tore it down in 2017. They came in 4th, 5th, 6th, 4th, 5th. Ever since 2017, they've never been higher than 3rd place until this year, okay, in the West. Now, after the 2016 loss to the Cubs in the World Series, we didn't make a move to get younger until we traded Francisco Lindor, and that was in 2020. So where's 4 years where we tried to remain competitive while Texas was rebuilding, why they were in the cellar, why they were getting their head kicked in every for losing 100 games? You know, what does that do to – this is what I look at it now. This is where I'm at, is we're in a bad division, maybe winning a bad division with a very young baseball team that just started to build in 2020, 2021. We're only in 2023. We're 2 years into this since Frankie Lindor had been traded. We still got another 2 or 3 years where we're not getting our head kicked in and losing 100 games and at the bottom of the division. Luckily, we're in a crappy division, and we're winning it, and we might get a little playoff experience. So the core of this team, that Miles Straw isn't part of this core. Why are we worried about Miles Straw? Amid Rosario is not part of the core of this team. Why are we worried about Amid Rosario this year? I don't think our front office, and Nick, you said, are we trying to win a World Series this year? Absolutely, the front office isn't. Twitter is, fandom is, Guardians fandom, all of us in our hearts want to win, and some people demand it. They're ridiculous. They're building. They're going to get some experience. I don't think they're not going to be sellers or buyers. They may be right in the middle. They might find a deal and get a starting pitcher that they have some control over. That's a good project or something. You know what I mean? I think they're going to be right in the middle. Beaver's out. There's no market for Beaver. Even if he what's that?
They got good news on him today, though.
Well, there's good news, but the market, though, what I'm saying, you know what I mean, the trade or any of that, is pretty much gone.
I just want to say to your point, if the front office is saying to themselves, well, we're trying to build and grow right now, then I don't understand why we are trotting Rosario and Straw out there.
That's what I was about to say. I was about to say that. That's what the shit around Arias, that's what makes me so mad about it, is we've heard repeatedly, and I even saw someone say this on Twitter, which I thought was just very, I wish I had been listening because I was watching the game at the time, not listening to Hammy, but somebody pointed out that like at the beginning of the game when Arias was like out there or whatever, that he pointed out again, which Hamilton has said multiple times, that Arias is the future in Cleveland. Like he is a future, like he is a piece that they really want to be a part of the success down the line. Okay, so then why the hell is he not getting at bats?
Right.
I get it. I get some of the other stuff. I do, because like I the Rosario thing's weird. Like I would love to trade Rosario and let Arias be the shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
Or
I think, yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, you're fine. I've even heard some people suggest switching Jimenez to short and Arias to second, and that's fine with me. I don't really care. I really don't want to mess with a Gold Glover in Jimenez and moving him positions, but I think he'd be fine at shortstop because I think he's really freaking good. But like, if that's the truth, if he's the future, he needs some reps. Like I can't. If you want to play Straw, that's fine. But the fact that Arias didn't have multiple at bats in the same game for over 3 weeks going into today's game, like that's malpractice to me. Like, and I don't like to be that guy. I've sat back and just been like, I've been with Roger, like trust Tito, trust this, all this stuff. I've been there and I'm sitting back and I'm doing all this stuff, but it's starting to get to the point where it's like, we said it on our last show that we understand they're not World Series contenders unless they go out and do like 3 really big trades or something like that. And a bunch of guys that are so start playing better. We've talked about that on this show. So we know that. So if we're there, giving it bats to Straw and innings in the field to Rosario, unless you're in a winning mode, unless you're playing really well, doesn't make sense to a team that understands where they are. So it's almost as though I think there's a disconnect between the front office and Tito, and quite frankly, it worries me.
It's an interesting thought because between what Roger said,
and that's pure speculation on my part. I don't have any source or anything like that.
But between what Roger said with where the mentality of the front office is and what I'm sure Tito's mentality and what he's trying to do, it's at least plausible to see that their goals are not lining up right now, or their philosophies. And so I went digging a little bit because I was curious to see what the stats were. Ahmed Rosario went 1 for 14 in this series here against.
There goes my prediction
against the Rangers.
I was going to ask if anybody knew, because I know that me and Nick missed on ours. My favorite thing is that my prediction was the Nailers would get 5 RBIs, and in the second inning of the series, they got 4, and I was like, "Oh yeah!" And I was like, "Are you how?"
And Miles Straw went 2 for 11 in this series. So I just between the two, you're what 3 for 36.
Yeah,
if my math is correct. That is, what are we doing? Yeah. What I don't understand. I can't.
I look at it like this. I'm like, if our offensive woes revolve around our lifetime 249 hole Gold Glove center fielder, I think we got much bigger problems than our lifetime 240 Gold Glove center fielder, going 2 for 11 over this weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it comes down to the man, Miles Straw, I absolutely agree. I'm not arguing. I'm just saying we got a lot of there's some problems.
There are.
Josh Bell is a problem. He can't even bend over. There's a ground ball hit. I could have got it. I would have made that play. I may not walk for another week, but I feel that ball that he booted. I'm tired of the Josh Bell experience. I'm done with the Josh Bell experience.
Hold on. He said,
"What are you laughing? Because you picture me?"
Yes, because you said. I could have bent over and I wouldn't walk for 2 days, but I'd have got that ground.
I just want to say, I'll tell you what, the Guardians spent money on both Zunino and Bell this year, and that just looks like they just threw the money right out the window. Right about. I'm not trying to be too brutal, but obviously Zunino's already gone, and I'm not saying that Bell is gonna be some colossal failure here, but it just your league has a lot to be desired across the board thus far. Is that fair?
This is the first time. They back when they were the Indians, they've done it in the past. It's almost a desperation move.
Ohio.
It was we need to fill these 2 holes move. You know what I mean? Yeah. We need a catcher. We need to squeeze this Mike's in. They were both bad moves. I don't know why he's still on the team, to be honest with you. I think we'll know a lot over. What do we got? We got the Phillies. No, we got the Pirates. The Pirates are us. They can explode for 10 on us tomorrow night, and just
they're pretty bad, man. They're really bad.
Yeah, but they at home. They could just what I mean. They just.
I'm going to the game Wednesday.
Man. And then we come home. We got the Phillies, and then and Kansas City.
Yes.
I'm Pittsburgh bound on Wednesday.
If we could just play there. If we could just play Kansas City all the time, we'd be all right.
So I'm going to do the best.
There we go. That's what I'm saying. We're going to have.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be a good week. Like, we're all pissed because there's just an absolute blown opportunity. Yeah. But they have a pretty good opportunity to where – here's the thing. If they go out and have a good week this week, I'm still going to be mad. Well, I'm still going to be mad about some of the usage stuff.
Sure.
Because I just don't – whenever they go up against a good team, they seem to find ways to lose.
Yeah.
And that's just what was it? The Braves. The Braves series was the same thing. They had opportunities to win games that they didn't. It's like, and they're not getting blown out by all the good teams, but they're not winning. They're not they're not winning series. That's what I meant. Winning series. They're getting games. They're avoiding getting swept. Not this series, they got swept, but like they're avoid getting swept. But it's like when you see them, like I know that Nick was optimistic. I thought get one at Texas and I'd be okay. Like if they could have got one, that was just because I think it's a better ball club. But like, I mean, I still love when they beat up on the bad teams though. So like, I'll take it.
I think that's the struggle, right? Is that they had really avoided getting swept. I don't know if I think
the second time, I believe.
Okay, because I think the last time was really early in the season.
Yeah.
So you weren't seeing complete and total. You're like, okay, well at least I got one of the games, or you took 2 out of 3, and so there was a lot of mixes of those where I think the Guardians were still right there, pretty consistently. But you just go in this 3-game stretch, especially right off the All-Star break. I think that just makes it a little bit more painful. But you're right. They definitely can bounce back. Like I said, I'm making the drive over to the Steel City over there for the 12:35 pitch on Wednesday because that just lines up perfectly. So
nice.
We're you know what? If Pittsburgh Twitter is any indicator of where the Pirates are right now, I don't think they're having a very good time there either. So
I have we have a student that works for us in the office. It's a Pirates fan, and he just I asked him this the other day and he laughed. I said, you know how I know the Pirates are not playing well, even though they started really, really well? And he was like, how? And I was like, you haven't mentioned the Pirates in like 3 weeks. Like he hasn't even like brought them up in weeks, other than he'll occasionally walk by my desk and just be like, Pirates blew it again. And then he'll just walk away. He won't let me respond, say nothing. But what he will do, and I appreciate this because I appreciate the rivalry, because he's also a Steelers fan. So we go back and forth sometimes, and he's like one of those, like, doesn't think he's superior to other fans. He's a kid too. He's like 18, but okay. He's a really nice kid. And so occasionally he'll come up to me and be like, man, the Guardians, man, they blew it again. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, at least they're not as bad as the Pirates. And then he'll walk away. And so like, hey, we got that going for us, I guess. So that means we've come to this moment in this week's show in which I flex my 2-3 record to both of your 1-4 records.
Oh man,
that's awful.
And I thought I had a give me when I said the Nailers get 5 RBIs. I was like, yeah, they're going to get 5. Like that's not going to be a problem at all. And then like what happened. They're throwing a bullpen game tomorrow, which is crazy, right? Is that right? Is it tomorrow that they're doing?
Tomorrow's the bullpen game. Thank goodness, because the bullpen. Well, never mind. The bullpen's the one that blew the entire weekend in Texas. Yeah. So hey, let's hand over an entire game to them.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, I guess if you're gonna do a bullpen game,
whatever.
It's good to do it against the Pirates. That's my spin there. That's about all I got. So, are we predicting, Jacob?
Yeah, give me a sweep of the Pirates.
Okay,
that's wow.
Hey, the last time, the last time I predicted a sweep, it was of the A's, and they did in fact sweep them.
I'm gonna say one more homer for both Nailers.
Okay.
I know that's not a high bar right now, but we're just looking for the Guardians home runs. I'm gonna say one more homer for both the Nailers.
That's why I kind of appreciated, because like some people online were like, you have an issue with power and you're sitting Bo Naylor. And that's why I thought it was kind of funny that Fry hit a dinger, though, because like a bunch of people were like, and I agree with those people. But like, I like David Fry, by the way. I'm a really big.
I do too.
He's been a revelation in my mind. What you got?
My pick.
Yeah.
I thought of this today. I was sitting on the Menor Headland beach.
You were sitting on the toilet, right?
I said what?
On the toilet?
No, I was sitting on the beach in Menor Headlands, and I'm watching an oar boat come in, and We go up 5-2. You know what? This is what I'm going to – David Fry's going to hit for the cycle between now and the next show.
Wow.
In a
Home
game?
run, double, triple, single. You're going to hit – and not one game.
Okay.
Yeah, not one game. Come on. It's hard enough that he's going to hit a triple between now and next Sunday.
Hey.
More
power to him.
I like it.
I like it. Those are good predictions. You know what?
Hey, he's got some wheels for a bigger guy.
A triple is something that kid can do. You know what I mean? You know what it reminds me of is my bulldog upstairs. Play all 5 positions.
We need a Bulldog 55 update.
Well, you know what? He's on the IR, which is good. He had a tournament this weekend, but it was kind of a one-day thing. But he has a minor fracture, jerking around with his buddy on his pitching hand. But they looked at it. They said, keep it taped to the other one 2 weeks. Don't touch your baseball. You'll be fine. Okay. We start fall ball coming up. So he's on I'm glad because he needed a rest. He needed a break. We got fall ball starting up. Practice starts this week, but his finger's still on the IR, so he's getting a break.
I got to say, you said jerking, and I was like, oh, no. I've been there before.
You know what I told him? Him and his buddy are like, I was like, you guys are getting older. You can't be screwing around and clowning around. You know, you got to think.
Yeah.
Because his buddy Dominic is a good basketball player, you know, and a good baseball player. So you guys are incoming freshmen in another year. You know, you got teammates that rely on you. You can't be screwing around and jamming your fingers and busting. Dominic hurt his foot, you know. So I was like, hey, you guys got to be smarter. You can't be screwing around and you're not kids anymore.
Well, did I just get us demonetized with a masturbation joke? I think I did. Nick.
This has been an episode of Living the Guard Life. I'm Nick. He's Jacob. That's Roger. Thanks for living the guard life with us.
I might have used this one before, but did you know that in Switzerland it's illegal to only own one guinea pig because they get like super loans?